Coming up right now, a mom is hit with a nearly six-figure fine after her kids collected what they thought were seashells from the beach.
Uh-oh. Also coming up, the latest on plans to auction Elvis Presley's Graceland, why the FBI is now getting involved.
And later, President Biden memes business as he plans to hire a meme manager, but there's a catch.
Isn't there always?
Always a catch.
Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Jackson.
And I'm Matt Doolittle. Mitch English will be joining us in just a little bit.
So, J-Lo making headlines once again, not for her impending divorce from Ben Affleck, allegedly.
That was the biggest story in LA last week. Yes, it
Story.
was everybody was talking about it out there.
Well, apparently she was up for a residency in Las Vegas.
Mhm.
90 million they were going to pay her.
Yeah.
However, they're getting cold feet based on ticket sales, entertainment projects bombing at the box office,
Mhm.
things sort of going south with her, people not as enamored with the J-Lo experience anymore.
Yeah, she had underwear ads all over the place. Here and overseas. She just had underwear ads on
What?
buses and there was a giant billboard of it on Sunset last week. So, I mean, people, I just think they're kind of like bored with her story. It seems like she just keeps replaying the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
And it's like, lady, get your life right.
Well, I think too, I'm not sure how rekindling the romance with Ben Affleck helped her. If not, maybe hurt her more
Right.
so than anything.
I think she was focusing more on that relationship than she was maybe her singing career. She really hasn't had a
Yeah.
movie that's hit in a while.
That's
It looked more like she was pining after him and following him around for a
Yeah.
while because he's got his own problems. So
you think?
yeah, you saw that Tom Brady roast.
Yeah.
So I just think that's an issue there. And in Vegas, I mean, they go there so they don't have to tour, but those shows always sell out. It
Yeah.
seems like.
But do you think a J-Lo residency would do well in Las Vegas? I know the Britney Spears one did
The
okay.
Britney one did okay. I mean, obviously Celine Dion,
Yeah.
Adele's had one out there that I
Yeah,
think
that's
is like sold out every night. And I think in Vegas, you'll get that party crew and girls going for their bachelorette party that will
Yeah.
want to go see her. So I think that she would have a better chance there than trying to tour and do it.
They've initially offered her $1 million for 90 days to test it out, to
Mhm.
see what kind of a response they'll get.
I mean, I think she needs to try it because they got to test the water. It's a big
Yeah.
investment if they go longer with her.
And if she gets divorced from Ben Affleck, let's say that marriage ends,
She'll have a lot of
well,
time on her hands.
she'll need a new project.
Yeah, exactly.
A California mom was hit with an $88,000 fine after her kids mistakenly collected clams, thinking they were seashells on the beach without a fishing license. Charlotte Russ was on a family trip to Pismo Beach, the clam capital of the world, when she said her children picked up 72 clams during their getaway. The Department of Fish and Wildlife confronted the mother of five, told her that her kids were collecting the clams without a license, and gave her a ticket. The local judge agreed to reduce her fine down from $88,000 to $500. She said the whole experience taught her and her children a valuable lesson about wildlife regulations. Making light of the harmless mix-up, Rush showed that she got a shellfish tattooed on her arm to remember the situation after she won her case. The Department of Fish and Wildlife says the harsh penalty for collecting clams without a license is in place to protect the sea life.
I can see that, and I was telling you, I just got off this trip where before we got back on the ship, it said no alcohol, no food, and no seashells
Really?
because they were worried about you disrupting the wildlife out there, but also worried about you bringing on a crab or something onto the ship when they're like, yeah, you definitely can't bring other animals on here.
Because you don't know what's lurking
Yeah.
in those shells and whatnot.
Yeah, and it was to kind of regulate the local environment because they don't want people just taking stuff because tourists are horrible people sometimes.
We're idiots. Come on.
But that's a big fine for that. And obviously, it was a misunderstanding. They weren't out there looking for these clams. Like the judge, I mean, the judge kind of had to be like, all right, well, knock this
Right.
down.
Here's what I love about California. You can go out and like basically beat someone up
Yep.
and brutalize them on the street and basically get a slap on the wrist. But you take a clam off the beach in Pismo and you are facing thousands of dollars in
I
fines.
mean, I was just out there. I was very careful driving because I know how the cops are out
Yeah.
there. I know that they're a very money hungry state. So I was just like, okay, speed limit. Don't I don't smoke, but don't throw anything out the window.
Uh-huh.
Don't just be good. Be good. Let's get out of here without
Hmm.
costing any money. That's how I was. Well, the company looking to auction off Elvis Presley's Graceland has abandoned its plans to sell the estate after a judge blocked the move and called it a potentially fraudulent sale. A rep for the investment company said it would withdraw its claims over the property shortly after a judge issued an injunction halting the foreclosure. At the center of the controversy is a $3.8 million loan that the company claims it gave Elvis's daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, before her death in January of 2023. The news comes as FBI agents prepare to launch an investigation into what the Presley estate calls a case of fraud. The lender planned to hold a foreclosure auction for the famous estate, claiming that Lisa Marie Presley defaulted on her loan after offering the estate as collateral. Graceland has been a fixture in Memphis since Elvis bought the estate for $102,000 in 1957.
I think that maybe there is some truth to the fact that they might have lent her money,
Mhm.
and maybe their whole MO was she'll likely default on this loan and we will own Graceland.
I one of the other things I read, they're like they're trying to look into the person that notarized it and everything, and they're
Yes.
like, we don't even know if this was a real notary.
Yeah.
Was Lisa Marie, obviously she had some problems at the end of her life? Did she competently know if she was even really doing this? And isn't Graceland tagged as a national
I thought that
monument?
too. Right.
Because I was just there last
On the
year.
historic registry.
Yeah, it's on the historic
Yeah.
registry, so I figured the government would have a little play in that. And I mean, I can't imagine who would be going after because there's a whole compound to Graceland. It's not just Graceland. When you go across the street, there's an entire
Yeah.
visitor center, shopping, food, radio station. There's all this stuff that goes with Graceland. So I just don't understand how they could get a hold of that by trying to claim it. And you hear the commercials all the time for people going out there and fakely, going after your house.
Yes. Yeah.
Did they just find the most famous house in America next to the White House and be like, let's go after Graceland?
That's the thing. If you're going to loan someone money in an attempt to take over their property, Graceland probably not your best bet.
Yeah, and for less than $4 million, Graceland's got to be worth a couple hundred.
Well, of course it.
I mean,
Sure it is.
and the whole family's buried out back, which is a little weird when you walk through there. So there just seems like there's a little more there.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see this. I'm just glad the granddaughter got involved and jumped
Yeah.
on this
Yeah.
because Priscilla would do anything to get the money out of there. But I guess
True.
they had to make nicey nice because Priscilla still owns some interest in stuff. So they've kind of had to
But the
bring the
daughter
family to
left
get
the estate to
left everything to the
her daughter.
yes.
Yeah.
So
The Biden Harris campaign is looking to hire a web savvy PR person to help create memes. It's a job built for online political trash talkers, but there's a potential catch. Whoever is hired for this role must work out of the president's hometown of Wilmington, Delaware. The job posting says the ideal candidate should be passionate about political content, thrive in a fast paced environment. President Biden's campaign maintains a presence on most social media platforms, including TikTok, despite Biden signing legislation that could ban it here in the U.S. Aspiring candidates for the meme master role must have at least 2 years of experience and be exceptionally creative. Is it just me, or should we maybe be focusing on other things other than hiring a meme manager?
I think there's a lot more going on in the world that we could spend that government money on. Plus, good luck finding anybody that wants to move to Delaware. It's like, no, if I'm social media savvy, New York, LA, I mean, even if it was in DC, that's one thing. But be like, hey, you got to move to
You don't
Delaware.
want to live on the beach in Delaware?
No, because you're like, Delaware. Like we drove through there once and we stopped at a rest station.
Took you about a half hour, right?
Rest station was even horrible. Yeah.
We went to a Wawa in Delaware, and it was a quick drive.
Yeah. Enjoy that meme job. Well, actress Sarah Paulson is getting candid about her living situation with girlfriend Holland Taylor. The 49-year-old American Horror Story star revealed she doesn't live with her girlfriend of nearly 10 years. She explains that she and the 81-year-old Holland met in 2005 and went public with their relationship in 2015. Paulson explains that her partner's romantic history may be part of the reason their long-distance agreement works best for them. The couple first met at a dinner party nearly 20 years ago and were both dating other people at the time.
I listened to Smartless with Jason Bateman and Will Arnett and Sean Hayes, and they had Sarah on as a guest, and she discussed all of
Oh,
this
okay.
in the interview. And she basically said, you know, we were kind of both set in our ways when we met, and it was just easier for her to keep her own home and me to keep my own home, rather than trying to meld all of our belongings at this later stage in our
I
lives.
mean, we're hearing of couples too that like want separate bedrooms.
Yeah,
They want their
yeah.
separate sleeping situation. I get yelled at for snoring almost every night, so I'm waiting for that to be like, all right, we're going, just go to bed.
Well, in her interview, she argued that in some respects, it can kind of keep the romance alive
Hmm.
because then you're spending your day with a different group of people, but you're coming back to the relationship with different stories and different
And they're
experiences.
older, so you're pretty sure
That's
they're not
true.
running around to bars and clubs
True.
behind each other's backs. You
You
know?
would think, right?
Yeah, I think so. Stay right here. More Flash right after this.
Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English. This is one of my favorite times of the week. We're talking about parenthood. And it's really easy for parents to think of play as just a way for kids to burn off energy, but studies consistently show the positive impact of play on cognitive, emotional, and even social skills. So joining us right now, we got to get our expert. We have our parenting expert, Catherine Sellery. Hello, Catherine.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you on the other side of Earth right now, but yet your
That's
advice and the things you tell us are right where it needs to be. How is Hong Kong, by the way?
Oh, we're just having a blast. Just having a wonderful time.
All right, why don't you bring me back some kind of souvenir? But in the meantime, we need to talk about getting kids out and getting them to play. And we're talking specifically about structured play because really it's essential for kids of all ages, regardless of whatever limitation they might have. Let's talk about sports. How important is sports of any sort really for a child's development?
Sure. So, maybe you used to play with your kids all the time when they were little and you can't keep up anymore. And
Right.
that's okay, right? That's okay. Sports are a great way for kids to exercise, have fun, make friends, develop key life skills. And it's good for them, not just physically, but mentally too. So you get to show up now and just cheer them on, whether they win or lose. Because few of our kids are going to be professional athletes. Yet
Right.
learning a sport opens up doors to connection throughout their life, whether it's basketball or swimming, golf, hockey, tennis, soccer, volleyball, horseback riding, whatever they choose. It provides a social currency. So becoming competent at any sport is going to bring that sense of mastery and joy, and it's an avenue for socializing.
Oh,
But it's not without its challenges either. So kids can get discouraged seeing others excel faster than them, and peers can be unkind, like any of the other arenas that kids are in. So there is some temporary discomfort. It's not pleasant or fun. And if they happen to experience some of the tough stuff, it also provides an opportunity to practice assertiveness, which then builds self-confidence that they stood up for themselves. And it's an opportunity for kids to master the art of what other people say about me, what other people think about me is none of my business.
And what do you say to a kid? How do you know the difference when they go, I just don't like it, I don't want to do it, and they're really not interested, or is it because they're not doing well, or they're not feeling that success? Do you force
Yeah.
them to kind of like, hey, work through this, or you're going to regret it if you drop? I mean, what do you say to them, especially to like a 9-year-old?
Yes. Well, usually I always read for what's behind the wanting to quit.
Okay.
Because wanting to quit is almost always a solution to getting out of something that's uncomfortable.
That makes
And
sense.
so listen for the underlying, recognize the I want to quit as a symptom, not the real issue.
All right, so rugby is a very contact sport. In my family growing up, family game night was contact sport. How important? Not necessarily, but how about family game night? Is something like that important as well? I mean, do they kind of learn the
Oh,
same values?
So great. Yeah, so family game night is an exceptional time for bonding and building memories. And maybe like you recall from your own upbringing, or maybe there are people out in the audience who didn't have that and they're the ones starting the tradition. It doesn't matter, whatever the case is. So whether you're learning something new or you play the same games over and over and over again. In our family, we do Uno Spin, Rumacub, card games, heart, spades, gin rummy, favorites. We play them over and over again.
I love
And
it.
game night is a perfect way for us to build the family time, build the bonds, have relaxed and fun, experiences together. But again, with little kids and sometimes older kids, it may be hard to enjoy a game when they aren't winning.
Okay. All right,
So set up game night beforehand.
Okay.
By talking about the big feelings that may start arising when they start losing. And you can also say, and what are the feelings that arise when you're winning? So they can begin to go, yeah, I have different feelings arising under different circumstances. And then talk about it in advance. How's everybody want to proceed if those big feelings start arising and it's not fun anymore?
And it turns into a contact sport like my family. Okay, I'm glad you brought this up because do you let your kid win? It seems like there's an age where it's like, Dad let me win, and they don't feel as accomplished. I always wanted to know about that. What's your thoughts?
Well, I think it does really depend on the age of the child.
Okay.
And so when you have younger children, it can be come on, the playing field is not even. It's a little bit like a handicap in golf.
Right.
If the playing field isn't even, then, you get the handicap. So it's a little bit like that.
Okay.
And I think it's hard for children to constantly be losing when the field isn't even.
Okay.
And so, I think it's okay to fudge a little bit with our children and give them the chance to feel like they're learning without always having to be with somebody who might be a master.
I think you're right. That's basically how I describe working with Andrea. The whole time. It's like, will I ever win? You also say it's pretty important not to intervene and actually let the child take the lead. Explain that.
Yeah. So in the world of unstructured play, because we've been talking about the structured stuff, but in the world of unstructured play, self-directed play is essential for little kids to develop healthy inside. We want them to become more and more adventurous. So language skills, thinking skills, problem-solving ability, improving their motor skills, all of this they can learn in an unstructured play environment. And it builds self-confidence. So too much adult interference, in playtime for little kids can stifle emerging self-regulation skills. So when they're allowed to take the lead in play, it builds self-regulation skills. It creates more independence. That helps them feel more confident. It's just all really good stuff. So follow their lead. Let them choose a game if they want to play it. Don't intervene if you can possibly, unless it's absolutely necessary. Just let them be.
Let them be a kid.
Their approach to an activity may be different. Let them do what they want to do. Just because it's different doesn't mean it's wrong.
Catherine, that's our time here. But of course, we want people at home to be able to check out freeparentingbook.com. Catherine Sellery, thanks for joining us. Hey everybody, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English. It's Thursday, which means it's time to check in with Tony Toscano to find out what's coming out of Hollywood and straight to your screen, no matter what size you're going to watch it on. With the latest, here's Tony!
Thanks, Mitch. Streaming on most video-on-demand platforms is the horror thriller The Piper. It stars Charlotte Hope and the late Julian Sands.
Your music, it is good, but soft. I'm looking for something controversial. Dangerous. What do you know about Catherine's first concerto?
You're going to perform the concerto for children?
She didn't want it performed. That concerto was what she was trying to burn when she set herself on fire.
When a composer is tasked with finishing her late mentor's concerto, she soon discovers that playing the music summons an evil force. I chatted with Charlotte Hope.
I hope they're terrified, but also in a kind of fun way, what I really love about this film is that it is genuinely really scary, but it also doesn't take itself too seriously. I think you can have a really good time watching it. But it's it's grandiose and chilling and creepy, but also a really good time, which I think is kind of also important in horror movies.
The Piper is a surprisingly good effort to create a feeling of foreboding with its haunting score and solid performances by Charlotte Hope and Julian Sands, who passed away last year in a climbing accident. Although the film is slow to boil, it's watchable and very rewarding. Again, it's streaming on most video-on-demand platforms and gets a B. It's not rated. Streaming on Apple TV Plus is the historical drama Manhunt.
What happened? The president's been shot. Witnesses are saying it was John Wilkes Booth. Wait, the actor?
Do you know who I am?
I'm a symbol.
How does a well-known actor commit murder in front of an audience of 1,500 people and escape?
During the pandemonium that took place in the aftermath of Lincoln's assassination, a tight group of law enforcement sprang into action to catch the killer and the conspirators responsible. I chatted with Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, I mean, again, I read the book Manhunt, which is an incredible read. And I read a lot of articles about Baker, about what policing was back then. And again, as shady as he was, he did do some innovative stuff, introduce some new techniques. So you take the good with the bad. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't so much that I refocused on that time, but I did re-embrace the idea that it's always been chaos. We've always been teetering on the abyss.
This 7-episode historical drama is a must-watch series. With superb acting, cinematography, and a well-researched script, this is top-shelf TV. Again, Manhunt is streaming on Apple TV Plus and gets an A. It's not rated. For the Daily Flash, I'm film critic Tony Toscano.
Welcome to Daily Digits this week, where we dive into some of the more interesting numbers from around the world. Your first number this week is 80.
80.
That would be 80 stories, is how tall a proposed $12 billion skyscraper would stand in the heart of New York City. Developed by casino company Wynn Resorts, if the project is approved. The ambitious project, dubbed Wynn New York City, would sit alongside real estate kingpins in New York and would be placed on the west side of Manhattan. It would be an all-inclusive city almost, with a luxury casino for the first 5 floors of the main skyscraper, with luxury hotels for guests completing the huge build.
Wow.
There would also be a second town in there, in the second building, where there would be a public school in it that would hold about 750 students for the residents. A staggering 35,000 jobs would be created by the project. The biggest issue, though, New York venues don't have a license to allow for people to gamble at casinos. But as we've seen across the country, gambling laws are loosening up, especially if you're in Florida. They drive in your head. Likely be approved if they can come up with $500 million needed for the license fees to run the casino. Now, your next number today is 2, as if you want to travel on the recreation of one of the biggest tragedies in the history of maritime, the Titanic.
Oh.
Yep, those of you who want to potentially relive the voyage of the Titanic will be able to do it, hopefully, on Titanic 2 by the year 2027. Australian mining tycoon Clive Palmer has revived the building of Titanic 2, which was initially pitched in 2012. Palmer's idea is that a 56,000 gross ton 9-deck ship would carry 2,500 passengers with the same interior spaces and cabin layouts as the original Titanic. Hopefully it'll be more successful than the first time, because that thing hit like a big iceberg. So it's going to have the same. They're working out if they're going to have the same 3-tiered class system, where everybody got shoved in the bottom if they weren't. So luxury cruisers, would you do this? I mean, how much there is to do out there with good cruises? Why would you do this?
I agree with you, because and the Titanic, I mean, the ships nowadays are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And the Titanic was relatively small, so I don't know if I'd enjoy it. So
I don't know if the drink package comes with a floating icicle known as Leo DiCaprio along with it. So.
That is true. All right, thank you there, Maddie. We have more Daily Flash coming to you just a few moments, right after this quick commercial break.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Jackson.
And I'm Matt Doolittle. Mitch English will be joining us in just a bit right here on Daily Flash. I've been traveling a lot. I'm done for a while, thank baby Christmas. Here's something that I found odd on this last trip that I didn't see on my overseas one. When did the barefoot flyers become acceptable?
My.
So at least 4 people on the flight to LA, and 5 or 6 that I could see on the flight back to Orlando yesterday were walking around the plane barefoot, going to the bathroom, leaving, coming back. And I'm like, did they come on with shoes? I don't know. I wear these little slippy shoes now that Mitch got me into because even though I have a massive shoe collection, it's just, it's
For
more
flying, it's
comfortable.
easy.
Yeah, for flying. But these people were, I didn't see it overseas at all, but they were walking to and fro up and down the plane, no shoes on. I was judging them so hard.
As you
like,
should.
what is wrong with you?
What is wrong with plane travel in general? I mean, the rules, decorum, politeness, just general niceness has gone out the window.
It has, and it's just people have these tensions with each other now.
Yeah.
Everybody is set off by everything so quickly.
Right.
God bless the flight attendants for dealing with all of this.
No kidding.
I mean, and I am one of those guys. As soon as the bell rings, I get up to grab my bag, but that's because I've been sitting and I got old man knees and a back. But some of these people are just pushing through to the front. They're trying to get out. I'm like, calm down.
Well, some would argue that the way airline tickets are priced, everyone thinks that they're entitled to more than what they're getting, right? Because they're paying for a seat, they're paying for an aisle, they're paying for their luggage, they're paying for X, Y, and Z. So, is it the price of the ticket that's causing a different sort of crowd to take over a flight, which is leading to all this bad behavior?
Well, obviously it has to do with which airline you decide to
This
take,
is true,
because I
too.
refuse to fly two of them ever again because of this. Just they draw that crowd. But I mean, we were on Delta for all of these, and it's the same temperament. I think it's just people don't like each other anymore.
Well,
They'd rather be on their headphones. They'd rather, Delta's got free Wi-Fi now, so you can
Yeah.
be on your own social media or streaming whatever you want while you're on there. So you don't have to deal with people. And if someone's like nudging you or, I mean, I sit on the aisle just because of my size, and I'm getting nailed every time someone walks by.
So is that the bigger question? We're sort of all living in these worlds that are about this size, right? 24/7. And so we're kind of involved and invested in this world, but when we have to get out in public and deal with human relations, we don't know what to do.
Deal with humans and their dirty feet walking in and out of the tiny bathroom. It was,
Sounds delightful.
it was the first time I'd seen that. It was very,
This is the reason why I probably won't be flying anytime
very
soon.
unsettling. Well, a California mother was hit with an $88,000 fine after her kids mistakenly collected clams thinking they were seashells on the beach without a fishing license. Charlotte Ross was on a family trip to Pismo Beach when she said her children picked up 72 clams during their getaway. The Department of Fish and Wildlife confronted the mother of 5 and told her that her kids were collecting the clams without a license and gave her a ticket. The local judge agreed to reduce her fine from about $88,000 to $500. She said the whole experience taught her and her children a valuable lesson about wildlife regulations. Making light of the harmless mix-up, Russ showed that she got a shellfish tattooed on her arm to remember the situation after she won her case. The Department of Fish and Wildlife says the harsh penalty for collecting clams without a license is in place to protect the sea life.
California, where crime pays, unless, of course, you're stealing the wildlife.
It's just nuts, and I get it because they don't want everybody just picking them up and not thinking, but I mean,
Yeah.
our kids didn't know the difference.
I guess the question is, where does common sense sort of fall into the equation here? I mean, was she really breaking the rules, or was it truly a misunderstanding?
I think it was truly a misunderstanding, and if she's got 5 kids, that's a lot of kids to watch what they're picking up. I mean,
True.
it's not like they tried to walk out of there with a seal or something. You know?
This
Hey,
is
Mom, I
true.
got a new dog. That's a seal. Put it down.
But Pismo Beach is billed as the clam capital of the world, so one could argue if you're taking your family there, how do you not know that's what you're picking up on the beach?
If they're grabbing them, but I'm glad the judge reduced it down.
Yeah.
I guess it was fine per clam. And whose job is that to go count clams down by the
88,000
seashore? You have the most confusing tongue twister of a job ever.
Let us know what you think. Head to our website, dailyflashshow.com. You can chime in there. We are talking the latest and greatest must-haves as we transition into summer. Here's our contributing lifestyle editor, Joanne Butler. Hi, Joanne.
Thanks for having me. Well, as we transition into the warmer months, we're always thinking about feeling our best and moving our bodies more. And regular exercise is essential for not only how we feel physically, but mentally too. Exercise is just crucial to maintaining a healthy mind and body. And I'm really loving what Planet Fitness is offering, as they're all about being the judgment-free zone, and they truly are. They have a warm and welcoming environment that just makes it super convenient and easy to prioritize your well-being. They have certified fitness trainers that will help you set up a plan to achieve your goals. You'll get access to more than 2,500 locations across the US and Canada. The memberships are affordable too, which is of course so important. And all clubs have brand name cardio and strength equipment, fully equipped locker rooms, flat screen TVs, and there's a free Planet Fitness app too that gives you access to hundreds of on-demand digital exercises from cardio to yoga, strength training, and even more. Just go right online to planetfitness.com or walk right into one of their clubs to sign up. You'll not only feel more energized and confident if you do it, but you'll also be setting yourself up for a summer filled with positive vibes and just a sense of accomplishment, which is the best. Now, in addition to SPF, hats, and sunglasses, there's another beauty essential folks should have at the ready as we head into summer. New Band-Aid brand Pro Heal adhesive bandages. These are the latest from Band-Aid brand, the #1 dermatologist recommended. They have a unique design to give you 60% better healing and help prevent the appearance of scars using this advanced hydrocolloid pad that creates the optimal environment for healing in as early as 48 hours. And it protects against dirt, oil, disease, and inflammation, helps minimize the formation of a scab, and actually helps restore your skin's barrier without need for adding ointment, which is great. And they're just as comfortable as a traditional bandage and 100% waterproof, so you don't have to worry about your cuts and scrapes as you're running around this summer in and out of the water. And you can find Pro Heal at your favorite stores like Walmart, Target, and Amazon. Now, last but not least, let's talk great summer hair. This is the new herbal essences with pure plant essences, shampoo and conditioning collections with pure aloe, handpicked leaf by leaf and carefully extracted to preserve its moisturizing and antioxidant properties, and camellia oil, which is a really special lightweight oil that mimics those found in naturally healthy hair that just instantly absorbs. And the two together help really deeply nourish your hair while leaving it surprisingly lightweight, and you're just left with soft, flexible, nourished locks without the weigh down, which is great. What I love too about herbal essences, there's something for whatever your hair needs, whether it's frizz control, moisture, curl definition, or color protection, and just the best high-end ingredients. These have hemp and apricot oil, honey, grapeseed extract, but they retail for just $9.99 each, so really a no-brainer, and you can find them pretty much anywhere. There you have it, my 3 must-haves as we head into summer.
Summer is on approach, and that means it's time to fire up that grill. Here's how to make the best burgers.
With the weather warming up and neighborhood cookouts being planned, nothing kicks off summer better than the first bite of a perfectly cooked, juicy burger. Chef, restaurateur, and award-winning burger master Josh Capon shares his tips for making the best burgers.
It's a summer rite of passage, grilling up the perfect burger. One so important that most men consider the ability to cook beef a top 5 life skill. 1/3 of women also agree it's a priority to know their way around the grill. Time to start grilling up some beef, everybody.
7-time winner of Rachel Ray's Burger Bash, Capon says whether you're new to grilling burgers or a seasoned pro, getting the best bun to beef ratio is the key.
It's all about knowing how to shape, season, and grill your beef patty to perfection every time. Aim to have your patty just a little bit bigger than your bun, so when it cooks down, it's the perfect size, and you're looking for an internal temperature of about 160 degrees.
Find out more by visiting beefitswhatsfordinner.com.
We've got some unique handmade gift ideas for Father's Day. Here's lifestyle expert Megan Murphy with more.
Hi, thanks for having me. I am so excited to tell you about Maker Place by Michaels because it is the go-to online marketplace for handmade goods and unique gifts. Crafted by US-based makers and artisans, there are hundreds of thousands of treasures, customizable gifts, bespoke crafts, one-of-a-kind keepsakes. And when you shop Maker Place, you are supporting independent artists and sellers who get to keep more of what they earn. And I shopped Maker Place for you for my top 6 picks for Father's Day. Are you ready? We've got this personalized picnic blanket, $69.99. It is waterproof, it is sand resistant, and you can engrave Dad's name right on that leather carrying strap. How fun is that? Any pickleball players out there? I love these personalized pickleball towels. The price is nice at $14.50. My husband needs a new wallet, so this is what he's getting. It is genuine leather, tri-fold wallet. You can put dad's name or initials right on there from $29. Nicest screwdrivers I have ever seen. They have wooden handles that you can personalize. This just makes me laugh. If dad can't fix it, we're all screwed. Flathead and Phillips head options, totally customizable from 20 to 29 bucks. And a little more punny business. I thought these spatulas were a riot. Best flippin' dad, best flippin' papa, $23.95. And for something a little bit more sentimental, dad is sort of that guiding force in so many of our lives. And you can personalize these compasses with a heartfelt message for $59.99. So many fabulous gifts at Maker Place by Michaels. Go to michaels.com/makerplace. And happy Father's Day to all you dads and father figures out there.
And now three-time Olympic gold medalist, swim safety champion, and drowning prevention advocate, Rowdy Gaines, on the importance of water safety and encouraging kids to step into swim.
Hi, I'm Rowdy Gaines, three-time Olympic gold medalist and water safety advocate. As we head into this busy summer season, I want to implore parents to put your children in swimming lessons. Drowning is the #1 cause of unintentional death in children ages 1 to 4. And we have found the cure. The cure literally is swimming lessons. When a child takes those lessons, it reduces the risk of drowning by 88%. And we at Step Into Swim, a water safety initiative from the Pool and Hot Tub Alliance, have really wrapped our arms around trying to help those swimming lesson providers through grants around the country to provide those lessons, specifically targeting those fragile and underserved neighborhoods. So all you have to do is go to stepintoswim.org to find out a lot more information and even find a zip code locator around your area. Have a great and safe summer.
Here's lifestyle editor Joanne Butler with some great summer hair trends. Hi, Joanne.
Oh, hi, thanks for having me. Well, let's start with the summer must-have for dealing with dandruff. It doesn't have to be difficult. To fight flakes, itch, and irritation, it's as easy as picking up a bottle of Head & Shoulders Bare on your next Target run. Bare really offers a simple solution. It's made with only 9 ingredients, just giving you the effective Head & Shoulders dandruff protection you'd expect from this #1 awarded scalp care brand with the Bare Minimum, hence the name Bare. It's also sulfate, silicone, and dye-free and created with the clinically proven dandruff-fighting ingredient zinc pyrithione, ZPT, which goes really deep to fight dandruff right at the source. And with continued use, the flakes and itch are reduced and scalp moisture improves. The plant-derived moisturizers and cleansing ingredients, too, mean that not only will your scalp feel great, but your hair will look fresh and fabulous. And no matter your hair type, Bare can fight against dandruff with 2 different formulas, the Bare Pure Clean for oily hair and scalp, and the Bare Soothing Hydration for dry hair and scalp. Plus, this smells amazing. So next time you're at Target or online at target.com, check out Head & Shoulders Bare. And there you have it, your must-have for summer hair.
And now some important information in women's heart health.
1 in 4 women over 50 have never heard of a common but deadly heart condition.
Severe aortic stenosis, or AS, has a life expectancy of 2 years once symptoms appear, making treatment critical. Historically, little research existed on the best treatment for women with AS. Understanding your risk and treatment options is the first step to getting back to an active life. New research shows that TAVR may be a safe and effective option for some women with AS.
For more information, visit myinteractiveasjourney.com.
Fraud losses have topped $10 billion for the first time in the U.S. Here's what you need to know to avoid scams.
Sophisticated criminal enterprises commit fraud against Americans every day, stealing billions of dollars each year. A new AARP Fraud Watch Network survey reveals 141 million adults have had money or sensitive information stolen through fraud. Here's AARP's Kathy Stokes with more.
According to the FTC, fraud grew exponentially over the last 5 years, with reported losses topping $10 billion in 2023. That marks a 317% increase since before the pandemic.
Criminals often turn to everyday communication methods like email, text, and phone calls to target consumers.
It's important to only answer phone calls when you're certain who's calling. It's risky to click on links, whether in a text message or an email. Instead, go to your web browser and type the address in yourself to avoid going to a malicious site.
For more information, visit aarp.org/FraudWatchNetwork.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English. You know, this week marks World Water Day, and joining us now to talk about the health and safety of our drinking water, of course, is Jim Murphy of the National Wildlife Federation. Jim, thanks for joining us. What should people know about where their water comes from?
Well, our water comes from the streams and wetlands that are around us, and right now those streams and wetlands, unfortunately, are at risk. A Supreme Court decision in 2023 rolled back basic pollution and destruction protections for over half of wetlands and millions of miles of streams.
Wow. What does that mean maybe for my local community?
It means that the water that you've taken for granted for 5 decades now may be at risk of pollution and may not be safe. So action needs to be taken to ensure that those protections are put back in place.
You know, it's the little things. What's maybe something that we can do right there within our home, or maybe civically? What are some things that we could do?
Yeah, certainly asking your state and local leaders to step up and fill that hole that the Supreme Court put in basic pollution protections for waters, and also asking members of Congress. Water is important. All people agree that we need clean water. And to make protecting clean water a top priority.
Absolutely. Jim, I want to thank you for joining us here. Now, if you want to find out more information, you at home, you can check out waltonfamilyfoundation.org. All righty, thank you.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. A comedian who is co-parenting his autistic son is faced with crucial decisions about their future, so he decides to go on a life-changing cross-country road trip. This is today's must-watch movie, Ezra.
My man Ezra, flying without a net so that he could order himself a...
ice cream, please.
The doctor who first told me my son was autistic could have saved us both a lot of time if he just said the truth. Autistic kids don't give a... They don't. You want me to put him in a special needs school? Jenna knows I'm broke.
She knows you're still not over her. The man your age shouldn't be living with his father.
He led 20 kids onto Washington Street.
Your son has been a danger to himself. He's not dangerous. He's a challenge. Nobody wants to do the work.
Now I see where the dangerous behavior comes from.
Son of a...
You want to do something for your son? You get yourself to L.A. Jimmy Kimmel wants to book you.
What?
They're not going to fly you. Is that going to be a problem?
No.
Hey, what did you do?
Ezra, get in the car. I need to get him away from here.
Stop taking the car. You're making a mistake.
Pop.
All I ever wanted was just to protect our boy.
Well, I'm protecting him now.
Give your Uncle Nicky a hug, huh? Come on, come here.
Hey, where you going, kid?
You know, the word autism comes from the Greek, in your own world. I don't want him in his own world. I want him in this world. That kid is the one thing that I can't get wrong.
Just look him in the eye. Looking a horse in the eye is like sharing your soul.
Where the hell are you?
Taking a little time off with Ez.
It's not a good time to take off, Max.
You're fighting for something. You might have to suffer consequences, but it's worth it because you did it. Because you love your kid.
A dad's job is to take his son down the field. And if he gets tackled, all that dad wants is for that kid to pick up the ball and to take it the rest of the way.
Wow, what a cast, right? That is very good. Now, if you want to see something better, there's a band called Better Than Ezra. If you want.
Yes, you're right.
Sorry I had to leave you with that bad joke. Say bye. Get me out of
Bye.
this.
Be good, everybody. We'll see you later.